Well, hey everybody, and welcome to the live Google Hangout where we're going to talk about the second full-length trailer that was released today for Inside Out. I hope you're ready to have some fun and talk through some of your opinions. I want to hear what everybody watching is saying, and we have, of course, Julie here as well. I'm going to go ahead and move this a little bit so we get a little bit
Yeah,
more
sorry, I'm kind of sitting back a little far.
Yeah, that's okay. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. But before we dig in, just a couple of quick things. We'll go ahead and do our introductions with who's joining us in just a moment. But if anybody is watching along on Google+, of course, as usual, you can ask your questions directly in Google+. In fact, I will activate the Q&A section as of right now. Boom, that's done. And then if you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment right under the video there. Or you can always contact us through Twitter using the hashtag InsideOutPP for Pixar Post. If you use that hashtag, we will go ahead and monitor those and pull those up if you have questions or if you just have a comment on anything that we're going to be talking about. So as usual, we are joined by none other than Dan, the Pixar fan. So Dan, say hello.
Hey everyone, once again. Here I am.
We'll go ahead and give your quick little introduction. Of course, we always have to, give you your plug and, tell people who you are and what you do.
No, I appreciate that. If there's any first-time viewers out there. Yeah, so I was 5 when Toy Story came out, and I have been collecting Pixar merchandise ever since I was a little kid. And so a couple years ago, I wanted to start a blog, and I wanted to do something different, so I decided to showcase my collection and write reviews on different products related to Pixar and try to help people discover new things out there. And I enjoy it. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. So it's
Awesome.
danthepixarfan.com. Check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you noticed in the background there, Dan is packing up. He's moving to the Pixar-themed house that he's building.
Wish. No, but I am going to the one and only Up House next month. So
Are you really?
Are you? Oh, awesome. Are you going to do a photo session there?
I hope she's not listening, but it's like $300 to do a photo shoot, and I'm a little bit taken back by that, so no.
Well, as a college student getting started, we totally understand. I understand, from her standpoint, it's her home. She's charging money that if you want to pay it, then you can come to her house. But if you don't want, I get it. It's a cool place, and she's gonna welcome you into the house. So, anyways, that's really cool, and we're super excited to hear about your visit out there, though.
Yeah, no, it is cool, and you know what, we might be able to work something out, and I know there's cheaper options, and I do want to take, my thing, I want to take pictures with Britta, with balloons. We have our shirts already themed up, so hopefully we'll get a little something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll have to have you on and get your feedback and thoughts after you go ahead and check the house out as well, so you'll be on, consider it you're on the podcast for that one.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'll be writing a post about that as well. That'll be a fun experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So also we have Ben Zaccato from Everything Pixar chiming in the Google Plus chat room. He says, "Hello all. How fantastic was that trailer?" So that is a perfect lead into our discussion here. Again, remember any comments that you have, write in Google Plus or on Twitter on InsideOutPP, and we will be monitoring that hashtag. We've got quite a few people viewing online as well, so if you're even just viewing, just give us a shout and say hello at InsideOutPP.
Yeah, we have 4 people who have just commented on all of your toys in the background.
Oh, awesome.
So I think they're new viewers, so yes.
Yes, so...
that is just a small tasting of what TJ has in this house.
Yeah, and you'll notice, I got to get my angles down, you'll see... the one we reviewed just the other day, Angel Kitty right there, and you can barely see, but just on top right there, right below Bambino and above Ham is Mr. Jones as well. So very cool from Toy Story of Terror. All right, let's get down to business here. We've got to talk about the Inside Out trailer. I want to know, we're going to start, Julie,
Oh gosh, I'm embarrassed.
What do you think about the trailer? What did you think about it on a scale of 1 to 10? Just give us what your initial reactions were when you saw it.
Okay, I gave it a 10. I know everyone probably thinks we give everything a 10, but honestly, no. I really, really enjoyed it. On our Pixar Post forum, a lot of discussion has been about two characters, one being Bing Bong, who we've all seen from the Fruit Snacks. We know he's kind of like an elephant, kind of clown, like hobo kind of character.
Made of cotton candy and has like a raccoon bushy tail.
Yeah, and also the character, like this crazy unicorn with rainbow hair. I was really, really pleasantly surprised that the trailer did not really show those characters. It didn't showcase them. It showed them in the background. So I was pleasantly surprised that we were kind of kept in the dark with those characters because at least Bing Bong, I'm pretty sure he's going to be kind of a main character, so I'm glad that that wasn't showcased. I love the emotion in Riley with the where she's tearing up in class, and I don't know if anyone else noticed, but it appears to be when she's sitting at the table with her mom and dad, and they're asking about her day. That's her first day of school. And when you see it later in the trailer and she's walking through the streets of San Francisco, she's wearing that same outfit with that same zigzag pattern.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
that's great.
She's just wearing a jacket over it. And she's smiling as she's walking. So I'm assuming that's going towards school because she seems happy. So I'm wondering if that's obviously before Joy and Sadness perhaps get sucked out of headquarters.
That would seem to make total sense.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting. I was like, ooh, look at that.
All right, so the first 30 seconds of the trailer were pretty much what we had seen previously. They were, the showing the inside of the minds, going inside the dad's mind, the mom's mind, and then into Riley's, doing a quick intro. So that was about like the first 30 seconds. And then we get right into it where we see the city. And that is, I love how it's just total San Francisco.
Oh.
You've got the angled streets, the high angled streets in the background, and you've got all the cars, and you've got the awesome trees. The
not one parking spot available on the streets.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So yeah, really cool that it gets right into it. But so Dan, what were your thoughts about the trailer when you saw it? What were your initial reactions?
My scale, or just
and initial reactions. 1 to 10, and like, if you thought it was really cool, or were you like, oh, I was wanting a little more, or how about that?
Oh no, I feel like I got plenty for now. I don't want too much. It's never fun to feel like you've seen the whole movie before you see the movie. As much as I like spoilers, and as much as I like learning about the movie, movies that I'm excited about, I don't like to know too much. So I think it was appropriate. As far as the scale, I'd have to go on with Julie and give it a 10 out of 10 and not only because, like you were saying, don't just give everything a 10. And honestly, I've never been really impressed with Pixar's trailers. I've always liked their teasers where they do like a little skit that's not in the film. But their actual trailers, I've never thought that they capture what they end up actually being, what they end up conveying, and the emotion. But this one, I felt like, I think for the first time for me, that I really got a sense of the emotion of this film and where it's going emotionally. So. I was really impressed with the trailer.
Yeah, I think that was kind of an overall kind of general consensus. I think a lot of people were really happy with it. They loved the level of emotion that they saw. But of course, again, like Julie alluded to with Bing Bong and Rainbow Unicorn, everybody's trying to catch little glimpses of them, looking at the background. They're like, did you see? There's one scene where he's in the back corner, kind of behind Joy and Sadness, and then, oh, there's another part over here, and it's like, people are just dying to know more about this character, and I actually think it's really cool that they're not revealing it, just because it's building so much suspense for those characters. And I don't think Rainbow Unicorn's going to be anything major, but certainly, obviously, we know Bing Bong's going to be with his own fruit snack. He's on. Oh,
sorry, our cat.
Here we go with Monster. Yeah. Anybody that's a first-time viewer, let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. Our cat Monster shows up for every hangout that we do at some point. What was that, Dan?
She or he? I always forget.
It's a she.
Okay, yes. Yes, she
So
does.
on Google Plus, we have Lego Boy 1214 Studios chiming in, and he's saying his favorite part of the trailer is the part when Anger says, "Can I use that curse word now?" He said, "I'm a teen myself, so I can relate to that." Yeah, it is one of those things where um, obviously Anger is quite fitting to be the character that would be the one to say that too. So pretty funny when that one came up. That was in fact one of the favorite lines that was out there as well, which we'll go through and kind of ask everybody at some point what your favorite lines were. But that was one that came up at least more than a couple times. So that was kind of cool. All right. So other things that we saw in the background. I have, of course, my handy dandy notes here. Other things that we saw in the background that we hadn't or that we have seen, but we got a little bit more clarification on, was the little lands that are kind of floating. Like they have off of headquarters, it looks like they have like a little wire that runs to it, and there's the land that we saw that had all the hockey items on it, had the sticks, the trophy, the helmet, all those kind of things. And we got a couple other looks at a couple other ones. We saw what appears to be like a best friend land where you see like two friend faces together. There's a little heart, and there's other fun things that they played with there. There's one that's almost dedicated to family where you can see mom and dad kind of almost around a younger...
like embracing.
Embracing, yep. And there's like a camper on there. There's some beach towels. Those are kind of really cool things as well that you're seeing all these different lands. But one thing that I thought was interesting, and a lot of people talked about it on the forum, Pessival, Gray Catbird, I'm trying to think of all the forum users that talked about this part, but the lands in the beginning or when joy is associated with them are very bright and colorful, but as the trailer goes on, you see them keep getting deeper gray, darker gray, and then it's almost like at the end where they're on that wagon with Bing Bong on it where they blast off and it has the broom that shoots out the rainbow. That's almost like pitch black.
Right.
So what is happening here? Is it because they're gone, she's falling deeper and deeper into sadness and depression? Is that what you kind of thought it was, Dan, or what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that seems logical to me. It's funny. I think that even though it's a longer trailer, I feel like we have just as many questions as we did before.
Yeah, it certainly introduced new problems.
Yeah, trying to figure this whole puzzle out. And yeah, I had the same thought. Obviously, it's really apparent that the lands are getting darker and darker throughout the trailer, or at least that's how the trailer's edited. You assume that's the end when they're crumbling down and everything. So yeah, I guess you could say that could be the epitome of sadness. I mean, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, you kind of thinking the same thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's, now who knows if we're right, but that's kind of what everybody was kind of thinking in the forum, and then also what the general group consensus is here. Dan, you had mentioned as far as the lands crumbling, and I think that was one of the coolest parts. So that, I was talking earlier with Jeff from This Day in Pixar, and he was mentioning, how this is so cool that it was has these whimsical elements and all these other things that are so signature to Pete Docter and his style. But I thought it was kind of cool because that action sequence where you're seeing that the land come down and they're running from it, to me, I'm like, the action part of it almost has elements of a Brad Bird.
Okay, but what film did that remind you guys of? Live action film. Come on, dreams, buildings falling, Inception.
Inception, oh!
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, it's like a Pixar, Inception 5 movie.
I love it.
That's what it reminded me of.
Well, I guess there could be an element of there in there. That's inside the mind, going layers deep. I love it. That's really cool. I totally did not even think of that, and it's one of our favorite movies. So hey. But the destruction. So I think it's a silly part, but it's probably my favorite part of the entire trailer is where you see Castle, and it has the wrecking ball come in, and the wrecking ball hits it, and it just poof turns into glitter.
I know.
I thought that was really cool that it destroys and turns into glitter and everything like that. And obviously we've seen a lot from the trailer, but if anybody's either followed along in the forum or read some of the other sites out there, we know that as her imagination kind of changes, these lands and things that she dreamt and thought about as a child are slowly starting to dwindle, while other things, as she becomes a teenager, about like boys and swear words and all that, start to build up.
Mm-hmm.
So really cool. I don't know, like, did that stand out to you at all, or was that something that was just like crazy for me?
I guess I didn't really catch that part. I mean, I thought of it, but
Yeah. So I thought it was really cool. I guess so. The other things that I'm thinking about, there's too much going on. So the Dream production, was it Dream Productions?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool, and a lot of people commented on this in the forum. They included some screenshots as well. I'm going to go ahead and just screen share one of those. But I thought it was really cool that. So Dan, just give me a heads up if you can see that, just as a confirmation, real quick.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, cool. So I thought it was really cool that you've got Imagination Land, but this Dream production facility. I thought it was really cool that it's got like the stage A, stage C. There's some roller skates in the background, some marshmallows in the background. There's posters that say star, like it's got her like posting her hand up in the air, kind of like an American Idol kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then off to the left, there's a princess one, and all these little blob characters that almost look like they're like little versions of in WALL-E.
The humans.
Like when they
jellified.
Right, when they jellify the humans and all that. So I thought that was kind of neat that all these little creatures are the ones that are like part of like the Dream production, and it looks like a sound stage.
Mm-hmm. I did appreciate the fact that the sound stages were stories tall, because that's how they really are. And having been on actual sound stages myself, I was like, oh my gosh, that's real. That's like you are walking down in a studio lot.
Yeah, and it was cool. Obviously, they're close to a lot of those, so they could go and get a lot of reference.
I just appreciated that, because in the mind, it's like there was actually something that looked real to me. Because Imagination Land, I've never seen a French fry forest, but that was in Imagination Land. But I like the fact that it included, something that was similar.
Yeah,
French fry forest.
So here's like you got the Imagination Land. You got Joy running in there. You've got your little hint of Bing Bong there with the French fries. Dan, what were your thoughts on the lands, and if you saw anything in the background or anything like that?
I don't think I caught anything that anybody else hasn't mentioned yet, but I did want to bring up the Dream production. That's one of my favorite parts about this trailer and about the whole concept in general. Like I heard about that, we all heard about that months ago, or a while back, a long time ago, and ever since I heard that, I thought that was super clever, and so I've been excited to see that. And I thought it was really cool. Something I wanted to bring up about those little blob characters, they almost look like from a distance. You can almost see a little bit of Monsters, Inc., I think, in those characters. I'll be excited to see those closer up. And I was also thinking about, I don't think that they would apply here because that doesn't seem to fit with this scene. But I was thinking about the Forgetters are somewhere in the mind as well. And they're going to be some kind of creature or some kind of character that's like, something that's not...
more of like a worker bee kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's what those reminded me of. I don't think those are them, obviously, but I was interested in seeing those at one point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben is chiming in on Google Plus, and he's saying that those jelly characters kind of remind him of the gummy characters from Wreck-It Ralph as well.
I haven't seen that, so I couldn't compare.
You got to get on board with this, Dan.
I guess so.
What else was I going to say about Dream Productions? Oh, that Dream Productions is where your favorite line was. With
where they talk about the unicorn.
The rainbow unicorn. Yeah, so what's the line here? I had somebody paste it in. So, I loved you. I loved you in
Fairy Dream Adventure Part 7.
Part 7. I love that it's Part 7.
Oh, yeah,
I love
that hilarious, and it's just funny because obviously Raleigh has these reoccurring characters that show up in her dreams. So there are these actors like this unicorn who obviously shows up once in a while, and it appears that the emotions have access to watch these dreams somehow. I don't know.
I just love the fact that the unicorn, rainbow unicorn, is sitting in a chair with a script in their hand.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, it's like reading through the production of it.
Loved that.
Classic, like nonchalant, just like classic actor who doesn't care. It's like, get out of my face.
It's like it's just like, oh my gosh, it's like, okay, the dreams are just like like a scene.
Yeah,
Right.
I can't wait to see that
Like
because
that's so cool.
it's going to be kind of exciting to see them be like, all right, action, we're live, people. Like
Yeah.
it's going to be like, like almost like a Saturday Night Live, like it's time to go.
It's gonna be like live action Peter Pan,
Or,
Yeah.
but
or
with less cowbell. Get it?
oh boy, Walken.
Christopher Walken.
Do you think that since there are scripts and there's lights and I don't know if I saw any cameras, but is it potential that any of the dreams are recorded and then they're
Oh.
played at certain times?
I don't know. But speaking of dreams,
Yeah.
okay, I kind of want to diverge a little bit. Dan, what did you think of that clown character?
That was kind of an odd part because it was totally out of nowhere. I think it will fit a little bit better in the context of the movie. But I can tell that looks like it's going to be some kind of nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
Well, that was something that was brought up in the forum too. It certainly seems like it could be because I think a lot of times when people see clowns, they think nightmares. It kind of just goes hand in hand in
And
a way.
I think it's Jeff Garland's voice. It kind of
Yeah,
sounds
I
like
saw you mention that. I wouldn't have thought of that on my own, but I could totally see where you're coming from once I heard you say that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was at work today and I texted Julie really quick and I said, I think that's Ratzenberger.
And I was like, are you crazy?
she's like, that's Garland. So I'm like, dang it, that's what I meant. So
Anything like Ratzenberger.
I made a simple mistake.
A rookie mistake.
It was a
Yeah,
rip-
come on. And then you're getting on me for not seeing Wreck-It Ralph. That's not even Pixar.
I know what's worse. I know, right?
But about that though, were you kind of in a way? I don't have the screenshot in front of me, but were you in a way reminded of the clown from Red's Dream at all?
Oh.
I don't know. I don't think I was. Let me see. I thought that was in here.
Maybe a little bit.
You're grasping at straws, Dan.
I need validation, man. Come on.
Well, they're both clowns.
They are, and they both look freaky.
Yeah.
They're both like white. That's what I remember.
As clowns are. I don't buy that one. Because I don't think did Red's Dream. I don't think he had green hair.
He had blue hair in
Well,
Inside Out.
No. I'm not saying he's exactly the clown. He
Yeah, it's just got some of your like vibe of it.
Yeah, this is kind of a creepy giant clown with a big head.
Sure. Let's talk about this screenshot.
Please do.
I want to know what people think of this because we've seen this beacon in that screenshot as well where sadness and joy are riding in the train of thought, which appears that it almost has like a train kind of look if you look at it from afar, kind of how it's got like the front area, but it's like almost like this little land that it's connected to has all these pipes and things, and it's definitely in like a gray area. But there's this light beacon that we've seen a couple times.
Yeah, isn't that where the headquarters is? Isn't that the tube that goes back to headquarters?
Is it really?
Oh.
That's what I think it is now after seeing the new trailer.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why, because you can see Sadness floating on a cloud as she's getting towards it, and Joy is running to try to go get her.
Absolutely.
Oh, geez. Well, how?
Julie is way ahead of us, TJ. Why are we even talking?
I don't know. I guess I'm just going to take off. I'll see you guys later. So, we had a couple of comments kind of come in here on Google Plus as well. And somebody said they think it could be some type of optic nerve. That was Ben. But Ben, I think it would make sense if it was an optic nerve. But I think Julie just blew our minds with the fact that that's probably
I think it's
headquarters.
the portal. Mm-hmm.
But if that's the
And I think the long-term memory thing where they were in is down below. And
but they got sucked up.
but they fell down.
Oh, you're right. So does
That's
it, like,
what I think it
does
is.
it shoot
I could be wrong.
Does it shoot out like an exhaust pipe and then just boo? That just.
I could be wrong, but that's what I think it is. I'm sticking to it.
That's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. I love it. So that would explain why it's kind of always in the background, because it's so central to everything, and when they're riding the train of thought, it's still out there. Wow. Okay, that just blew my mind, but I love it. I'm done.
Go back to that screenshot with the headquarters beacon, whatever.
Yep.
So it's coming up. I just see your logo.
You just see my logo? Not coming up yet?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, okay, so what were you going to say about it, though, in the meantime, while it's pulling?
Anyway. No, yeah, that's fine. I was just going to look at the off to the side, all the darkness, kind of the wreckage. Is that kind of the some kind of wreckage of one of the lands off to the side there?
Well, it would appear so, because it's connected by that little wire, how the other ones are to where the headquarters is. So that's even more telling that that's where the headquarters is, because we've seen those other lands have those connectors. But it makes me wonder, with all these pipes and this like water tower look up here and everything, like, what is that?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's where like the Dream production facility is, because it's so, I don't know, kind of industrial.
Yeah, it looks almost like post-apocalyptic, like kind of like abandoned, run down, shut down. Everything's just kind of grungy and dirty.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looks
Absolutely.
like. Do you think that it's? We had talked about the sadness aspect. Do you think it's that, or do you think it's the aspect of her growing up and her getting rid of those types of lands?
I think it's her growing up, getting rid of those types of lands for sure. Ben just
talked about the aspect too, with the darkness and everything.
Yeah, Ben chimed in and kind of said that he thought that island kind of looked like the Train of Thought as well.
And I actually had a couple people asking if we wanted to see the Train of Thought in action.
Yes, we did.
Trailer.
We want.
Yes, Dan did.
Do we want to see it, or did we see it?
Did we want to see it? Like, did you want to see it in the trailer?
Yes, I think we all did. But
yeah,
we'll see it.
That would have been fun to see, kind of like. I mean, they could have included it like as a super quick clip as well, to see it kind of like maybe even pull into a station and just be like ding ding ding, Train of Thought. Like, just that'd be kind of cool to see like a quick little thing of it.
But what would you have wanted to give away in this trailer?
It could have just been. It wouldn't have had to necessarily give anything away. It could have just been a little quirky thing, like just a play on words, the Train of Thought thing that we've kind of heard about before.
Yeah. I'm glad we didn't.
All right. Well, Dan wanted to see it.
Well, I wasn't like looking forward to it, but that would have been cool to see. But you gotta save something for the movie. I can't see everything.
I know, that's how I feel. I'm like, every time I watch these trailers, I'm like, oh, do I want to see it? Yes, I kind of do. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like when Monsters University came out, and I know you guys did this as well. We all saw the pre-screening and the college pre-screening, and so that was before the final trailer, and it was before the international trailer, which gave a ton away. They showed little Mike Wazowski in those trailers, and I was so happy that I actually saw the movie before those last trailers came out. So maybe I shouldn't watch anymore.
Yeah, that's certainly true, to not give away too much, because when we saw it at the college event as well, it was when Mike Wazowski came on the screen, people like gasped. They were like, "Oh, it's so cute!" Like,
right. and then like a couple of weeks later, it was in the Japanese trailer.
Right. But then when we went and saw it as well at the theater, at the regular theater, after the trailer had come out, so people had already kind of seen that, the reaction was different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I don't feel like yet that I've seen something I didn't want to see. So like I don't want to see anything really from the opening sequence. I want that to be totally, just full on emotion, with her being born, with Joy being born, or whatever we've heard about it with Riley growing up there. I want that to be a total surprise.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. So Lego Boy 1214 Studios is chiming in as well. He says maybe John Ratzenberger will play the role of Bing Bong because he's the last character that we haven't heard his voice from. Now, obviously, it's not the last character because, I mean, John Ratzenberger will voice anything from the fish in Finding Nemo to just a real quick, "Hi, they're coming" in Brave. I mean, that was like 2 seconds. So he could just still be one little thing. I personally don't think he's going to do Bing Bong.
No, there's already a rumor of a character that he's going to play. I don't know if I should say it.
Probably not.
I won't. Because it's a rumor, so.
Yeah.
I feel like any new character people see revealed, they automatically, most of these fans on here will automatically say, it must be John Ratzenberger. Oh, the unicorn, it must be John Ratzenberger. Oh, Bing Bong, it must be John Ratzenberger.
Yeah.
Like every new character isn't going to be John Ratzenberger.
Well, the other thing that people are like really seeking for and trying to figure out is who's the villain going to be. So they're like,
that's another thing. People think like every new character is revealed as the villain.
Right. Yeah, and I love the people on the forum with the conversations going back and forth that are reminding people as they're suggesting that it's Bing Bong or Rainbow Unicorn, which clearly is not a villain. Like they're reminding them that they thought Mr. Pricklepants was a villain and all those kind of things. So I thought it was funny that that's going out there. But people look for, I mean, they want to know. We know who the good guys are now. We want to know who the bad guys are. So it kind of makes sense.
I don't know if there's going to be a villain in this film. I think the villain is going to be age, growing up. Like,
it's I completely agree. I don't think there's going to be an evil villain inside her mind anywhere.
Yeah, kind of like losing some innocence and growing up, out of, into teenagedom. I don't think there's going to be like a bad guy. I think there's going to be obstacles, but I don't think there's going to be a Stinky Pete or a Lotso or someone like that.
Right. I mean, look at Finding Nemo. The villain was the fact that Nemo was lost. That was the problem. Then there was many obstacles in the way of that, but they weren't. None of them were, jellyfish, sharks, and all these things that kept them from finding Nemo weren't villains. They were just, struggles throughout the journey. So I think that is going to be very similar here.
Yeah, and Ben's chiming in as well online, kind of just reiterating that Pixar doesn't always have and rarely has kind of a true villain figure. He did also mention one other thing that I think is kind of cool, and he talks about, we talked about the Dream production facility, and we talked about the Dreams at night. Are they going to be almost like pre-recorded that they play before they go to bed, before the emotions go to bed and they just show at night? Or are they going to be live, where it's like, okay, we're on crew. But what about daydreams? So you're in class and you look outside and all of a sudden you get like little birdies and you're like, hey, wait a minute, what happens for daydreams? Are they like on standby all the time? Like, oh, she's got something.
I got something. Okay, deja vu. Do you think there's gonna, like, oh my gosh, I've seen this before.
Oh, you mean what's going to happen with deja vu?
Like, do you think...
I thought you were saying like you were having deja vu.
Oh, no.
I got what you were saying, Julie.
I can't keep up tonight. I don't know.
I wonder if that'll be, because that's something you go through.
It's true, and I've had it happen. There's so many things in the mind that could be explored. I don't know if they're going to touch on everything. I don't know if they're going to touch on daydreams or deja vu, because, I mean, they have to obviously pull it back into the story. Because I mean, they could spend a long time on all these types of things. I would want to see them, and maybe that's where some shorts will come in later on. I don't know.
Yeah.
And there is actually going to be a Inside Out themed short that's going to be released on the Blu-ray when it comes out.
Right.
Just announced today, Josh Cooley is going to be co-directing Toy Story 4, and he just finished directing this new Inside Out themed short. So that's going to be interesting. So maybe we'll see something kind of fun there. And I have a feeling it's going to be kind of similar to like Bernie and Your Friend the Rat, kind of maybe like a Party Central, like a 5-6 minute short.
That could be kind of cool if they focused in on like the Dream production facility.
Yeah, I think it's just going to kind of maybe focus on, I mean, I don't know, Bernie, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Like he was like the little worker guy off in the
Yeah.
know on the side, and all of a sudden you see Wally go by in the background.
Yeah. So yeah.
What's,
Maybe
what's
one of
I'm drawing a blank. What's the one? Why am I not thinking of it? With Doug. That was on the Up DVD.
Which one that was on Up? Doug's
Yeah,
Special Mission?
The Doug one.
Yeah, Doug's
Yeah,
Special Mission. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, the cool thing about that one and Bernie was that you got to see something that barely happened on screen and like kind of see it in a different perspective. You know how both of them do that. Bernie, you see that little moment happen on screen, but
Yes.
now you get the full moment. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree. That would be awesome. I
Something
agree
like
with
that.
you. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. So while we're getting into some of the meatier stuff, because I have one thing that's really kind of cool that Bonnie from the forum user Bonnie brought up as well. But I want to compile what your favorite lines are. So we've got several viewers that are watching along right now. Tweet us, Inside Out PP. I want to know what your favorite line are. So here's a couple that were out there. So mine was personally about the pizza, where Anger says, "Congratulations, San Francisco, you've ruined pizza." Like, it's just so awesome because it's like, San Francisco, they moved from Minnesota. Minnesota's going to give you straight pepperoni. It's going to give you the heart of pizza. Francisco, they're going to give you the hippie kind of healthy kind of different options. And I thought that was awesome. That this is like her experience with it, and she's like, and he's all mad about it. Plus, it ties in broccoli, which we know Disgust has already been associated with.
Yes.
Because she had it in her teeth in one of the trailers, too. So that's one of them. We have the Can I Say That Curse Word Now? There are no bears in San Francisco. I saw a really hairy guy. He looked like a bear. So that one was pretty funny.
And actually, a Pixar employee today tweeted out that they were surprised and happy that gag got left in the film.
The bear one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. Do you remember who it was at all?
Dr. Michael Johnson, I believe.
Michael B. Johnson. Yes, absolutely. And then also think positive. Okay, I'm positive you will get lost in there. And then obviously...
That's a cute one. I like that.
Yeah, it's definitely...
With joy and sadness.
That's like a line that's made for a trailer.
Yes.
Like it's like it has that perfect the music like record scratches and
Right.
stops. They say the line, then it kicks back on. So... and then obviously your rainbow unicorn one that you had mentioned, but was there something else? I want to just kind of get any idea if anybody has any favorites out there, and we'll kind of get a general consensus at the end.
And we did have someone just tweet us that, okay, I'm positive you will get lost in there.
Yeah,
They liked it
so there's
too.
that one too. Ben is also mentioning from that article that Josh Cooley, as we mentioned, being the co-director for Toy Story 4 and directed something for the Blu-ray release for Inside Out, is also currently the story supervisor on Inside Out, so we should have mentioned that as well. So good keeping us honest, Ben. Okay, so one little side note. I was very excited about this. I want to see if Dan paid attention to something because I've already freaked out to Julie about this, so I can't ask her. What was the name of the business when the lady hands the piece of pizza to Riley?
Oh man, I
It was
don't
on the
know.
shirt.
It's on the lady's shirt. She has a tattoo of playing cards on her neck, and she has several piercings, one on her nose and on her ears.
Yeah, I noticed the tattoos. I noticed the piercings on her nose and everything. I didn't check out her shirt, actually.
The shirt, I was very excited about this, and this is going to be something that most people that are watching are going to go, is my favorite book of all time is East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and the restaurant is Yeast of Eden, and I was so excited about that.
Yeah, see, even if I read it, I wouldn't have even got that.
Yeah, so not everybody can see this, but behind here, that's 1, 2, that green one
That's
is...
That's like 12 East of Eden books.
Yeah, I have so many different editions of it because I'm that addicted to it. There's a first edition. I have it on audiobook. I have it on for my Kindle. Like, it's the best book, so I totally recommend it if anybody wants to read it. It's a long one. It's a slow
That'll
one.
be a good shirt. We'll have to make you that Yeast of Eden shirt.
Yeah, I'm sure every time I go out, people will be like, "Oh, Yeast of Eden." So I'm taking.
basically pause any moment in the trailer and like find all these details to talk about. Like literally almost anything.
I know, like literally. Okay, so did you do that? Because we did that. Like we
yeah.
took the trailer and we were like, play pause, play pause, play pause, play pause.
Oh, yeah. I just didn't catch the yeast of eating. Sorry, but I did pause it a lot. I don't know if I went through every screenshot. I don't know if I paused it everywhere, but definitely hit up some screenshots for a while to analyze.
Right. Okay, so also, this is the thing that I wanted to kind of talk about. So Bonnie mentioned again in the forum, that's her username, and I think it's one of the best points, and it's something that I hadn't thought about. So she said, is this the first time that the emotions have ever touched each other's memory orbs? Sadness acts like she shouldn't, but then she does because she probably wants to feel joy for a moment. So what set this off that this is a joyous memory, and all of a sudden, sadness is like, hey, I'm going to touch this. Does she have like a moment of weakness? Do they have like this unwritten rule? This is something that we haven't even thought about. So how does touching it change it?
I think she's onto something. I think there's like an unwritten rule, and she probably just wanted to like feel joy for a second or visualize seeing it or something.
I thought the same thing, and the reason I wanted to justify why she would want to continue touching it after, because they're like, no, sadness, no, but she still like goes after it, you know, even though she knows affecting it. So I was like, why is she going after it when they're all saying no? But like you said, you know, joy is like a high. Joy is a good feeling, and she's probably going after it because she felt it for a second.
Okay, yeah, so she's going after that feeling because she wants to obtain it and feel it more.
Maybe. I had to justify a reason why she would continue to try to do that after they're all saying no, you know?
Right, yeah, and it is interesting because I guess there is some kind of unwritten rule because she's over there like looking at it like maybe just touch it for a second, like
right.
You know, like so they obviously have some kind of understanding. So at some point that will be most likely in the intro. So we'll have the characters, we'll get introduced to them. Once we get like because you know there's going to be like that production scene. Like here's the mind, and you're going to go through it and you see how everything works. Mm-hmm. There's obviously going to be some kind of tutorial or whatever, or lesson that we're going to be like, and don't touch each other's memories, or this might happen. You know,
right?
You know, be like the instructional videos, or not like the videos at the beginning of WALL-E when we see that everybody had to leave Earth because of all the trash and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We need that level set. So it's got to be in there at the beginning. But I hadn't thought about that, like why she continues to go for it. And is this the first time that this has happened?
Yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think of like the 5 core memories? And what do you guys think those memories are? And they're so important that you see Joy has that like candy bag that she is collecting those memories, which at least that's what I think. That those 5 core memories got lost and scattered, and now they have to find them to collect them and then take them back to headquarters.
Right.
Yeah. I am so interested to see the rules of this world be set up, because obviously there's so many rules that as filmmakers they need to establish. You know, this is how this is done. This is how this is done. They're gonna need to explain all this exposition without actually saying too many words. And so to see how all these things work and what the core memories are and what all these things are, you know, what the long-term memory does and what these lands are and how the dreams work and all these things, to see that all explained, or at least visually, is like something I'm pumped about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know about core memories, but I'm excited to find out what that's all about.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see that. I just have another thought too. So if they have this rule that they touch each other's memories, and there's a sad memory, so let's just say the memory is starting out as a sadness memory. Mm-hmm. How come Joy doesn't touch it and just make it happy?
Well, because I think it's important that everyone has sad memories, anger memories. They're not just like robots. I'm happy all the time.
I'm a robot. I'm happy all the time.
Like you have to have fear. Sorry, Dan.
That's another. No, that's okay. There's a little delay. That's another thing that I'm talking about. Kind of why Joy can't touch it and have it be joyful. Yet that's another rule that's obviously established in the film that we don't know about. So something me and Britta were talking about earlier. Like we went out to dinner and we were talking about it like the whole time. We were saying, in real life terms, has that ever happened to either of us when a joyous memory looking back has become a sad memory? And we tried to bounce ideas off of each other, but we couldn't really find anything specific that really worked to me. So I wanted to throw that to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have one already lined up, like that you can think of?
Yeah. Mine's deep though. I don't know.
Yeah. I know what you're gonna say. Let's leave that one off the table.
Okay.
As far as like I think of like I think of the easier ones to think of for me are like breakups. Like at the time, a breakup is a terrible thing. Like when you split off and you're like, oh, I can't understand this. Why did it have to happen?
But a breakup can be with like a boyfriend, girlfriend, or with best friends.
But that's a sad memory to a positive, not a positive to a sad.
Oh, you're saying specifically one that was positive and became a sad.
Right, because that's what happened in the trailer. So I'm trying to bring that into real life.
So you have a good, like a best friend, and you're no longer friends with them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she said. She said, hey, I had this friend named Jenelise, and we had good times, and now looking back, like, she is not friends. They had a big falling out, and she does not have good memories anymore. So that was one example she had, the same thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that quite worked, but I wanted to get your thoughts.
That happened, like you're no longer, yeah. I get what you're saying, though, Dan. I'll have to think about that.
Because what I told her is that, like, she's looking back at these times, they're still the good times, so there's still positive memories, even though the negative feelings are still there, the times are still good. So
I have one. Sorry, I just thought of one. Okay, so TJ used to love flying in airplanes. Like, he didn't love it, but he didn't mind it. But now, like, he's not, like, scared or anything, but there's, like, a fear that now has touched that yellow memory and has now made it purple to fear. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed for airplanes or anything like that. It's just all of a sudden fear has touched his joyous airplane memory.
Yeah, because it was one time that the plane was basically going down.
But you know, like, nothing really happened. It wasn't like you're friends one day and then you're not speaking to someone, so that, like, physically changed. But, like,
right,
that's just some, like, kind of like a mentally kind of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Perfect. I love it. Fear touched one of your positive yellow orbs, man.
Yeah, it did. It did. Okay, so I got thinking about this too. So it's kind of tying everything in. We've got another comment from Ben where he mentioned maybe some of the memories have segments of each emotion inside of it, but the most. What were you gonna say, Dan?
Oh, I just said, oh, that's getting deep.
Yeah, but he's saying, but maybe the most prominent emotion is the one that's featured on the exterior. That is always a possibility, but it got me thinking about it. And, oh man, I just lost my train of thought again. This is the second time this has happened, the last one of these two.
The train is somewhere. It's lost.
Was the emotion that sadness touched, was that one of the core memories?
Yes, it was in the that sphere thing that kind of looked like, you know, where, like, cats play and like that. There's a ball stuck in, like, a tube thing.
Yeah, where they hit it around.
Yeah,
but
that's what it reminded me of.
That wasn't necessarily yellow to begin with, was it?
Yeah, it was. They were all of them were. When they all hit the floor, they were all joyous ones.
Okay.
I think there's 5 of them.
I think there are 2.
Maybe the forgetters got your orbs, man.
Yeah, they did. But I was wondering if for some reason those core memories maybe were just more clear, and they don't have emotion assigned to them. And then if somebody touches them, it becomes that.
I'm lost.
Like,
but it seems like a memory would have to have an emotion associated with it. Like, there's not too many neutral experiences out there for a kid.
Yeah.
Certainly not if it's going to be a core one. You're right about that. I just
But-
so I was gonna
No,
say
go
so
for it.
maybe you can like touch non-core memories, but it's only the core ones that can shift, or is it just all? I guess it would be all.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it through.
Is part of their journey in all this, is part of their one of their goals in all this to make that core memory joyous again?
I
Throughout
think so.
That would be my thing, is that they've got to get these core memories back to bring joy back into her life.
But I
think
also-
that's- yeah.
Ooh, I just thought of something.
Okay.
So you know, at the end of the trailer, where the whole family is kind of on the floor and they're just like hugging each other, kind of sad but a happy embrace. I know. Oh my gosh, I was just like.
That like gave me chills, that shot. I loved it.
Yes. What if it's not the emotions that change it, but it's the family together that actually changes that sadness-touched memory that was joyful back to joyful again when the family realizes, hey, we're all together, we're in this together, we're getting through this together, we love each other, and it turns.
So it's like after like a big blow up or something.
Well, I don't think it's after a big blow up. I think they all kind of, are dealing with like the move and their own emotions, and I think they all come together.
Well,
and it
I think
changes.
that scene I think is still earlier in the movie, because in the background the card table's still up.
Mm.
So my thought was, because I did want to ask that question too, is because that is an awesome scene. I mean, you can feel like the great emotion there. Is I think it's like after they moved in, she has this big blow up, like where Riley's yelling at her parents, like the day was horrible. I got made fun of. I cried in class, whatever it was, and then she goes like to storm off, and then like maybe one of her parents like grabs her or whatever, and then like they just have like that breakdown moment.
Right. Yeah, I see
Like
that
where
too.
it's going to be tough, but we're going to get through it, kind of thing,
Yeah,
and all
I
those
can
other
see
kind of
that
things.
too.
I think that's going to be the first. I'm going to throw it out here. This is going to be the
I forgot to look at her clothing, so I can't say anything until I see what Riley's wearing.
right, but I think this is going to be the first instance that we're going to see really serious, like a blow up. So it'll be like happy, happy, happy. We're going to make the move that's going to cause strain. It's going to be the big blow up. It's going to come back down a little bit and then just shoot back up, and that's where it's going to be like the height of the movie with the emotions and everything. That's out there. By the way, yeah, Dan, you mentioned getting deep. So Ben asked, do each of the emotions have their own core memories?
Yeah. See, then you get to all this other stuff. It's like looking into Toy Story too deep. You get into all this stuff.
Yeah, it is kind of a never-ending little downward spiral of thoughts and things you could do. But this movie is going to be one of those ones that people are going to dig into, pick apart, because there are going to be so many layers between the emotions and people's interpretation of the emotions, the story. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so we have a couple Twitter questions. So our forum user and Twitter user, Ultimate iPad Expert,
Hello, Paul.
he agrees with me on the favorite line of the film, so yes. It's funny. He was also wanted to know our thoughts on Bing Bong, and I know we kind of already talked about it, but it's the same kind of thoughts that we're talking about in the forum, that he's kind of like this hobo guy that kind of takes everyone kind of through the world. But we also got another question from Dylan Duval, and he wants to know what our happiest or saddest moments are. And he shared that his happiest moment was when he got his Toy Story collection, Buzz, and his saddest moment was when his brother left for college.
Oh, look at that.
So it's nice.
Yeah, and that's Dylan and Dan Duval, our friends of the site as well. And Paul with Ultimate iPad Expert on the forum.
So I'm going to stick with happy thoughts.
Okay, sorry. I was going to jump back and forth.
I don't want to talk about sad thoughts because that's not fun.
Yeah, it's a lighthearted comedy type hour, so let's keep it there.
So Dan, you're up. What's your happiest?
Oh.
She doesn't even give you time to think. She just rifles it right at
come
you.
on.
Yeah, that hit me. I have a pretty.
Oh,
I've had
one
a lot of
up.
happy. When I think about happy, I don't think of like a happy moment. When I think of happy moments, I think of just my childhood in general. Looking back, I was a happy kid. I'm still a happy guy. But just looking back at all the fun things I got to do as a kid, and just growing up in the '90s, and the friends, the neighborhood friends, and playing outside all day and being in the woods and building forts and going to the beach and being with family, and just all those things just come to mind right now. And I just think that's, looking back, I mean, that is really happy for me. And I try to transport myself back to my childhood as often as possible, and Pixar is a way for me to do that.
So your island of emotion, definitely with the little nerve that's going back to the headquarters, is covered in those memories of a tree fort and family and all those kind of things.
Yeah, and we did have one.
Oof.
You're up.
Oh God, you're gonna throw it right to me.
Yeah, just one of.
Oh, there's so many.
That's it's hard. That's why I had to cover all the bases.
Right. It is kind of hard to think of one. You know what? It came to my mind, and obviously because of us running the Pixar site, but we're talking about Pixar, my brain went to Pixar.
Mm-hmm.
I will say when I saw Toy Story in the theater, it changed me. I mean, we've talked about it on here before, so I don't need to get into it, but it literally was like the respect for the company started at that moment, and just like the how it made me feel, and how I realized that I cared. I really did. I cared for these characters. I teared up that like they were just that they had to get back to Andy and like the adventure they were on, and I immediately went to the music store and bought the soundtrack, and it's just like I was so elated after seeing that. It just changed my mindset of animation in general. And so I would throw that as one of mine.
That's a good one.
How about you?
You know what? With PJ, with us being married men, I think we have to throw it out there that marrying our wives, we're probably the happiest as well.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
yeah, those are
without getting married, and obviously the birth of our son, that was like amazing.
Yeah. I thought we had to touch on the bigger ones since
Yeah. I'll keep those personal ones personal, but one of mine has to be when we created Pixar Post. I'll never forget, like, we had these big dreams of, gosh, we just want to, meet other Pixar fans. And I will never forget the first email that we got. And it was just the nicest email saying, thank you for your site. And I read it, and we must have had like 10 posts at that time. I'll never forget that, because that gave me, like, wow, someone read our site, someone looked at our blog, and I just feel so like I could like tear up, because I just love the Pixar community, and that is seriously one of my core happy thoughts.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, that would be mine too. I don't blame you.
Yeah. It's really cool. We've talked about it on here before as far as starting the site. Obviously, again, Julie's idea, but it turned out to be like one of the best things. The other time that was crazy, what was his name? What was it? Tyler Green? Not Tyler Green. His last name was Green.
Oh, I can't remember.
When we walked into Disneyland.
Yeah, we went to Disneyland and someone noticed us.
They're like, Pixar Post! I was like, what the heck?
That was fun.
Yeah, so happy memories have certainly come from the site. Obviously, we've befriended Dan here. I would have never, known you otherwise.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, because this is, the last couple of years, this has been the great thing we've got going on, and it makes me really happy that, all of our, everything that we talk about, everything that, we've done over the last couple of years, I think it's been a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really humbling to know that we have created, like, true friendships from people throughout the world.
Yeah.
From, all with, like, Pixar. And I swear that's, like, why it's one of my favorite memories, because we have true friendships with people that we never would have had we not created this site.
Yeah, well, okay, so we have to, obviously, now that we're just going to be a love fest, we have to throw it out there. and obviously we know we're friends with Dan. We know we're super close with Jeff from This Day in Pixar. Paulina, absolutely. She's met up with us at Disneyland. She helped us out. She just reached out randomly and trusted us enough to buy us that John Lasseter green
car
truck that was a limited edition release, and paid for it, mailed it to us, and then we sent her over the money at that point. Like, she totally trusted us, and it's just absolutely crazy. So yes, so we're getting off on separate topics.
But good question though.
Joy is making us happy. It's like it's contagious.
Yes, it is.
So maybe we should talk about what angers us.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's good.
I'll tell you what angers me. This one's really easy.
I leave food in the sink.
No, but it is food related. Heating up seafood in a microwave.
At work.
You can't do it, people.
PJ, I'm with you. It makes the apartment smell bad for days.
Yeah. Here. There is no seafood heating up in the microwave, period. No. It can't happen. So,
wow, you are so angry right now, TJ.
Yeah.
You're angry. Come on, man. Pull yourself together.
I know. I gotta get myself under control here. Okay. One other thing I gotta talk about before we get to the other. You got another comment or question or whatever?
I was just gonna ask you guys about the the technical details. We didn't really get into that real quick before we wrap up.
Okay. And then I have one about the music.
Okay, of the short. Dan, did you see any technical details that kind of like blew your mind or that you got you excited about the film?
Like as far as animation, lighting, all that stuff?
Yeah.
Well, one of them we've already touched on was that scene when they were all hugging on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Beautifully lit. Loved it. Any shot I saw of Riley on the streets in San Francisco going down the sidewalk was just outstanding.
That was going to be one of mine too, because where she's going to school, my favorite part is you've got the sun coming through the trees, and so you've got cars on this side, and this side where the trees are, and they've got that wall. You can see all that awesome, like, warm, dispersed light, mottled light coming through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I know, it reminded me very much of the lighting from Brave and the lighting from Monsters University, which also had the trees with the lighting.
I thought of Monsters University as well.
Yeah. My other one was watching, and I cannot wait to hear more about this with Joy, where there's a scene where it's really close to her, and she's walking just past the frame like this, and you can see the particles coming off of her, still subtly floating there, and kind of just staying close to her, but and that they, even though they're separate of her, all have their own individual light as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we know from like Finding Nemo and all those kind of things, the characters that have a light inside them like that have to be lit. So I cannot wait to hear how they lit each of those individual particles and just had them all work like that, and to still stay lit and just emit just enough light. I can't wait to hear about that.
Right.
Well, that was all that new technology they had talked about, right? That they had to develop.
Yeah, with the global illumination. That's a little different than global illumination, but it'll be interesting to see how they handle it from a particulate matter standpoint, because when we did our interview for the Pixar Pipeline Project on the podcast, when we talked with Angelique Reich from the lighting department, she talked about that they had to do some really unique and different things to get these characters lit. And so I will also say that we were lucky enough to be invited out to Pixar for the press day, so we'll be there at the end of March and into April to talk through the different settings and things and learn more about the film. And Angelique Reich is going to be one of the people that's going to be talking there, so we're very excited to see what she's going to have to say about lighting and specifically about that. So love it.
Yeah, I really was blown away by the versatility of the animators. I mean, in Riley's world, the real world, you see just, I wouldn't want to say like regular animation, but more realistic animation, where in her mind it's squash and stretch. So the animators had to do both styles. And I think that really is amazing, where they've separated the two, but in the same film. So I'm really excited to see, that the animators, I think, job well done, because, you can't squash and stretch a human outside the world, but inside Riley's mind, all those characters are like, I just think it was really, really well done. I was really impressed with it from this trailer.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Something that's a little off topic, but not. It still relates with the particulate matter. How do you phrase that? What do you say?
Particulate matter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess it doesn't have a term yet, so we can call it that. But I'm not I'm not like an advocate for 3D in films, but do you guys think this in 3D that matter is going to kind of pop off the screen? That would be kind of cool.
I still don't think it'll totally pop, but I think it will add, like, will it be enough? Because it makes me wonder if it's going to be enough, because it's so close to their body. I don't know if it'll be enough to add enough depth.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't looked at it close enough, but I thought that could be a cool effect in 3D, but not sure yet.
Yeah, well, of course it would, because you've got all those different dimensions, especially if it turns and all those kind of things. It could look really cool. Again, yeah, you're right. We all have talked about it where we're not like 100% favoring the 3D version of films, but right. It'll be awesome to see this one for sure, because obviously, as we know from general 3D, I don't like it. Pixar 3D, I like it more. And they're going to do a great job with it, of course, especially as you're going through these lands falling and all the variants of all the
I just don't
stuff.
like when you wear the glasses. It's kind of gray, so the colors aren't as clear as they should be. That's the only thing with 3D. The whites aren't white. They're like a grayish color. Same with all the other bright colors. It kind of dulls it down. I mean, slightly, but it still bugs me.
100% agree.
So I will...
High five, Dan.
I will say that she got that from me, so I think my anger touched her emotion about that.
Yeah, you got to agree about 3D.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about the music. I want to know about the music. So, obviously, the beginning of it starts out. It's got a soundtrack. People have already been talking about. It's more of a score. It's been talking about, is that Giacchino's work? What do we think about that? And then I also want to know, on the second half of the trailer, it starts playing a particular song. Quiz, Dan. What's the song and who's the artist?
I do know this one this time because I love it.
So you know this one. All right, perfect.
This is More Than a Feeling by Boston from 1976.
Fantastic, you know it. Okay.
I have it.
Oh, you do? Look at this.
So how many people were singing this song all day long from the trailer? I know I was.
Yeah. So what did you think about the score at the beginning, and then I know you like the song, but how do you think it fit into the trailer as well?
Oh, I loved I didn't really, the score at the beginning didn't particularly stick out to me, I don't think. I know the final score will, because it's Michael Giacchino. He's going to be awesome.
Right.
I don't know if this was his score, and I don't think it quite stood out to me, and I'm usually like a big score guy. As far as Boston's song, like that, I thought it fit perfectly, and they had the different, the way that the song goes and how they fit it to the scenes, they had like the perfect moments, like Joy looking up at those stars, just the way the song went at that moment, and when they were all hugging, on the ground during that moment of the song. It's just like they fit it seamlessly. I love that. It was cool.
Yeah.
What did you think about it, Julie?
I thought it fit perfectly too.
Okay, so it was a general consensus on the forum. I'm going to buck the trend. I didn't like it.
You didn't like the song, huh?
He doesn't like the song.
Okay, so I loved when they did the Sweet Emotions by Aerosmith because of the fact that it was mostly just the bass line.
The riff. See, I like this better than the Sweet Emotion Aerosmith song. See, Dan? High five.
So Ben is saying that the beginning piece was part of a different song, not part of the score. So Ben, if you know the song, what was the song that's that? Do you know what that is already, Dan? Or Anybody else listening? What is that opening song?
No. Yeah, that's why I wasn't certain, because 99% of the time movie trailers for their score will take things from either companies that make trailer music or from other films, and I felt like that was going to be the same case.
Right. Yeah. As far as the song, I'll go back to it though, just so that way I can put a capper on it. I've mentioned it before. I don't prefer when there are songs that have lyrics that you hear, because to me, when I hear the singing, it takes me out of the element of the movie because I just listen to the song. I just have never preferred it for some reason. I don't know why.
I know.
And I hate to disagree with you, Dan, but I don't love that song.
He doesn't.
It's catchy. I like it.
I really don't like it.
Oh, so that would have a huge impact in your life of that song in the trailer then.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of like that Sweet Caroline song that you sing at ball games. He doesn't like that song either.
Wait, so what's wrong with the song? I mean, it's just like
with More Than a Feeling?
Yeah, it's just kind of like doesn't really. It's not like controversial. It's not like anything wrong with it, right?
Okay, so I think it's a little too. It's too specific. It's more than a feeling, so of course it's a move. They threw it into the feelings. I feel like it's too specific, and I personally just don't like Boston. So I guess that's really what it's stemming from.
I don't know literally I don't know any other Boston song except for that one. So.
Hey, here's an interesting twist that I don't think you picked up on that you said though, which Sweet Caroline that got started being played at the Boston
Red Sox.
At the Boston Red Sox at Fenway. I think that's hilarious that you just brought that up, and
you also don't like
the
Boston.
band is Boston.
That's funny.
So. Yeah, so, okay, well, that wraps up, like, kind of my thoughts, the things that I had. Oh, okay, one more thing. I didn't see this. I wrote this later. I didn't see this, but somebody was saying that Joy was wiping a tear off of one of the memory orbs. Did I miss that?
I don't remember it offhand. I'll rewatch it.
Okay. Was that? I mean, maybe whoever was saying it was on the forum. Maybe they were just thinking when Joy was trying to like touch the memory orb to get it back to Joy.
I know Joy was like really sad looking at one. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was the shot I was thinking of.
Yeah, I was just wondering after I read it.
That's one of my favorite shots.
Yeah, after I read it, I was like, did I miss something? So maybe, anyways.
Yeah.
And then of course Antoine with his username is Gray Catbird. He was doing his usual. He's done the Easter egg hunt. He's like the Easter egg specialist. He wrote a whole thing where he was going from screen to screen asking people if they had found anything. I thought that was kind of funny that, he's right in there.
I did kind of see something when Joy comes across Rainbow Unicorn. There is a screen in the background. It looks like a screen, and there's like a starburst print. I feel like, I didn't go back and look, but I feel like that starburst print is the same print that is on Joy's dress. So tell me what you think.
Oh, hang on. Is that screenshot, was that one out there?
It's the one with the unicorn.
Yeah, I wish I had all the screenshots to look through, because I'm sure I'm missing a bunch of stuff.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to find that one. But if you notice that a very similar starburst kind of like, does it look like a starburst kind of snowflake?
Not really. Kinda, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, it's just lines.
Okay, because she, when Riley is doing her fake air drumming, she is, there's a symbol that's like that on her cup as well. So okay, Rainbow Unicorn. I'm gonna get to it. Are you seeing this at all, Dan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry about that. I muted you, Dan. Are you able to see this?
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. So see, that starburst print?
This?
It just reminded me of Joy's dress. But now that I'm seeing it again, I don't think it is.
Well, that's okay. I mean, we're all trying to piece it together as we go. And okay, so where's the part where she's air drumming and she's having a grand old time?
It's at the end.
It's at the end.
Cool, actually.
Sadness. Brain freeze.
No, before that.
Before that. Oh, this is just...
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh yeah, okay. So she's air guitaring here. And it's right before this. So if you notice, that symbol was on the little cup that she was hitting. So it's kind of like a similar kind of symbol to what's on her cup.
Yeah.
I think that's just a design element throughout the movie. Kind of just a little bit of that whimsical kind of 70s kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Ties in with the 70s theme of Boston. By the way, I love that you quoted the year as well for Boston, 1976.
It was.
Okay.
For not knowing the last one.
What's that? Makes up for not knowing the last one?
I didn't know the Aerosmith one last time.
So Ben has found the song, by the way. He said it is Spread My Wings by Catherine Ostenberg. And
I guess we could have sound-hounded it.
yeah, that too. So we'll have to look that up and see what we can come up with. But yeah, Spread My Wings by Catherine, Kathryn Ostenberg, Ostenberg.
Yeah, so thank you, Ben.
Yeah, look at this. All right, any last comments come through on Twitter at all?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Well, we just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Certainly hope that you enjoyed the hangout and the discussion. We had some good hearty talks here after we got into it a little bit, and had a little bit of a love fest going on there for a little while, looking over our happy memories. So that was pretty exciting. So, Dan, go ahead and say your little sign-off and plug your site one more time, if you will.
Yeah. So all you out there who love Pixar toys, collectibles, any kind of merchandise, you can hit up my blog. It's danthepixarfan.com. I do a post every day, and I review an item from my collection, and I post links on where to find it, and have fun exploring. It's all organized under tags. You can go into the archive. You can explore, by movie or by searching. Anything that you're looking for, type it in, explore a little bit, let me know what you think by commenting or shoot me an email.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fantastic site. I check it out all the time. And in fact, I have you added to my Feedly reader so that way I can get all my news updates just in an RSS feed there.
And we've even bought tons of stuff that we didn't even know existed because of you, Dan.
Well, that's good. That's literally why I made it, and I'm happy that's actually what people use my site for. So.
Yep. So I'm going to share one more thing, kind of going along with what Dan does, but certainly not stepping on his toes. Is we have recently introduced, and I want to know, Dan, have you seen this? The products tab on our site.
I have checked it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So what it is, just so people are aware of it, is it's a compilation of Pixar products that are popping up either online or in stores. Just a little bit of a, so it's going to give you just like a scrolling, here's all the products that are kind of popping up between the Disney store, some of the books that are out there, some awesome You've Got a Friend in Me t-shirts. Just a quick place, because we obviously love to do reviews, but we can't buy and review everything.
Right.
So for the things we can't review and we want to tell you guys about, we just decided we would start putting these out here. And it's all broken down similar to how Dan's is, with the labels on the side. So it's you can sort it by all the different films, what store it's at, and what type it is. So if you're looking for just clothing, you can come in here and click this, and it'll break it down by those. And in fact, if you haven't seen it, there's an awesome Incredibles blackout T-shirt as well. That's on Hot Topic. Have you? Do you have that one, Dan?
No, I actually bypassed that one because I have 2 other Incredibles shirts. So
right.
I didn't know if it was. And I have a lot of the Hot Topic ones, and like I have like maybe 6 out of the 8 that I have are black. So I just figured.
There are a lot of black ones, but I feel like that's kind of Hot Topic's MO is to have a lot of dark.
Right. Yeah, I have a whole bunch. I do love their stuff. I have a whole bunch of them. I'm excited to wear them on our trip next month, which I'm excited about.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be so fun.
Yeah. We'll be looking for more updates from your site soon, and be sure to check out the products tab for all those other little products that are out there that we can't necessarily, or Dan can't necessarily get around to reviewing. Well, any other last thoughts?
Nope, that's it.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Ben said thank you. This was awesome. We appreciate you joining, and to everybody that was watching along, have a great evening. Watch the trailer one more time. Thank you, Pixar, for another awesome one, and be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye-bye.
Bye.